So I don't know if this counts as news or rumor control or what. All I know is that this article exists. Someone pointed it out to me thinking that it could potentially be genuine news. And I feel like in that case I should probably address it. For those of you who don't know, Screen Rant recently ran an article entitled Why Rodan May Not Be in Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, seems innocuous enough, but then again, this is Screen Rant we're talking about. The same Screen Rant which decided to publish that article about all those monsters that could beat up Godzilla because they're more powerful than him. You remember that brilliant piece of work, right? The same article written by someone who didn't know the names of the graboids from Tremors, didn't know the origins of the unnamed creature from Colossal, and didn't know that Gauss has never appeared in a Godzilla movie. Yeah, Screen Rant, the same site that read that article and thought, yes, this is worth publishing as is. That's where this article comes from, so that's strike one. Strike two is the fact that no other sites are reporting on this. And strike three is that it is basically 100% speculation with no sources cited at all, so there's no reason to take it seriously. But then again, what does it even say? Here's the basic summary. I'll provide a link if you want to read it for yourself, but it does make reference to certain spoilers that got leaked with some toy image reveals, so proceed at your own risk if you don't want to have those things spoiled. But basically, it's bouncing around the idea of whether or not Rodan is going to show up in Godzilla vs. Kong. On the one hand, there's no evidence that he is. On the other hand, there's no evidence that he isn't. They're basically just saying it's possible he's not going to show up. Now, why does the author of this article think that? Good question. It's really not discussed that much at all. In fact, I think the article was altered from the time I saw it yesterday, because when I read it yesterday, there was a line, I swear it was there, that said that it was possible that Legendary might not bring Rodan in for Godzilla vs. Kong because they were looking into giving him his own spin-off, or words to that effect. But when I went to look at the article today, that part isn't there. And I am very certain I did not imagine that. So there clearly has been an alteration as far as I can tell. But even so, there's really nothing here to talk about. It's just this speculation about whether or not Rodan will show up. And we already know there's going to be other monsters in Godzilla vs. Kong. Some classic, some original, but that's as far as I'm going to say, again, to avoid spoilers for those of you who wish to avoid them. But at the same time, it's really just not based on anything. They say, of course, that Rodan would be the easiest of the monsters to bring back, the easiest of the classic ones, at least, that were introduced in King of the Monsters, because he's the only one that's not dead at the end. Mothra is dead, but at the same time there's an egg, and we don't know when that's going to hatch. Ghidorah is dead, but we don't know what the plan is for Kevin's severed head. But Rodan's still alive at the end. So they say there's a possibility that means he could come back, but at the same time, it's possible he's just going to be nesting in his new home. You see how I'm repeating myself? That's because there's really nothing to talk about here. I guess I'm doing this video because if you think this article has any sort of weight, it doesn't. There isn't really anything here. It's just wildly speculating based on nothing. Rodan might be in the movie, but he also might not be? The deuce, you say? Anyone could have guessed that. It's odd that this even exists. Basically, the article is there, it's speculation, so I can't really fault it for being that. I guess I'm just letting you know you shouldn't take it as literal news, because it isn't. There's nothing to support anything in here. Personally, I have no idea if Rodan is going to come back in Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm sure they could bring him back, but they don't necessarily need to. they've certainly got other monsters they're bringing in, so they wouldn't necessarily have to bring him in to fill in the roster, but at the same time, it might be a missed opportunity if they didn't. But ultimately, that's all I can say. That's all anyone can really say, and yeah, this may just be a total waste of time that I'm doing right now. But either way, I just wanted to let you guys know, just because you see this article on Screen Rant doesn't really make it news. So just be careful what you're looking for. I know we're all desperate to learn some bit of new information about Godzilla vs. Kong at this point. That doesn't mean you can believe everything that's posted to the internet.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.